Uh, 2020 World Press Freedom Index. What did you think of the findings for the next decade?
Oh, I thought it drew attention to a lot of the key issues that we're facing. In particular, today, press freedom is not just about the classical right to tell, the ability to publish. It's about misinformation. It's about undermining the business model so that you can't get the news out there. And finally, it's about access to information, which at one point was we thought we had success. We addressed through Freedom of Information Acts, right to know laws, passed whistleblower laws to encourage those who had information to convey it to the relevant parties. But we've seen an attack on all of these pillars, and in particular, the attack by the Republicans on the whistleblower law. It was so interesting in that context. No one denied that what he said was correct. You might argue there was a debate whether it was within the presidential discretion to do what he did,
Right.
but everybody recognized that it should be part of the public domain to assess what was going on. No justification for secrecy. So the whistleblower was doing his job in the way the law was designed. And yet, rather than making the discussion about what it should be, how well our whistleblower law worked, had moved into the public domain something that should be discussed, and people may have different conclusions. There was a vicious attack against the whistleblower. And that is an example of a new dimension. It's always been there, but harassment of journalists and social media has played a very negative role, both in the spreading of disinformation and in facilitating harassment. Putting online the addresses, making it easier people to make threats. So we have a new, you might call it news ecology. And in the beginning, many people talked about how this new news ecology democratized access to information. It meant anybody could become a publisher. But a couple years down the road, we now realize it hasn't worked out that way. And that in many ways, those with more money have the ability to distort this marketplace. How can you compete with people who can hire bots to disseminate disinformation, misinformation, if you're trying to put forward honest views about what is happening? So we've created a peculiar Wild West of an underregulated information marketplace. It's not a market, it's a mafia market where money and thuggery play too big of a role.